Welcome to the Deep Dive, Complete Aviation Solutions Deep Dive number 119. Today we're plunging into the fascinating world of global aviation, drawing from a whole stack of recent reports and data.
Yeah, and our mission for you today is really to pull out the most important bits, the nuggets of knowledge and insight. We want to help you understand the complex decisions, the big investments, and, the challenges shaping the skies right now.
That's right. We've got nations trying hard to launch their own flag carriers, major airlines going for really ambitious expansions, and even the nitty-gritty of just keeping fleets running. It's all here.
Hmm.
And these stories, they really show just how interconnected the whole aviation world is. It impacts everything from like national pride right down to your next trip.
Definitely.
So speaking of national pride, let's unpack this. Let's start with Ghana's persistent, really decades-long quest to get back in the game.
Okay, Ghana. What's fascinating here is the government's renewed push, it feels almost relentless, to set up a new national airline. The president of Ghana himself has actually made direct contact with an airline in Lisbon.
Really?
Yeah, seeing them as a potential partner. He even mentioned he'd flown their airline personally, which is quite a touch.
That is a bold move and very personal. But given their history, why are they so determined now, and what are they actually offering potential partners?
Well, the president's been very clear, reaffirming Ghana's openness to investment. He's citing, a stable business climate, a growing market, 35 million people.
Okay.
And to really push this forward, the government just set up a dedicated 10-member task team.
A task team. For what specifically?
Their job is specifically to write the new national airlines business plan and figure out the operational framework, getting the groundwork done.
Ah, okay. So it sounds like they're not just banking on that one Portuguese airline then. What's the broader strategy look like?
Exactly, they're casting a wider net. Besides talking to the Portuguese, Ghana's also approached the UAE for potential support. And they've apparently heard proposals from a U.S.-based aviation group, too.
This sounds like such a long road for them. Weren't there previous attempts that, well, didn't quite work out? What happened there?
Oh, absolutely. This is just the latest chapter. There have been several failed attempts before.
Like when?
Well, the most recent one involved a private airline, but its certification process just collapsed back in May 2024.
Oh, wow. Just now.
Yeah. And before that, memorandums of understanding with Ethiopian Airlines in 2018, Egyptair in 2020. Neither materialized.
So a pattern there.
A definite pattern. Ghana hasn't actually had its own national airline since Ghana International Airlines stopped flying in 2010.
Right.
And that airline itself followed the collapse of the original Ghana Airways back in 2004.
It really paints a picture, doesn't it? A nation just determined to have its flag carrier again, despite all these hurdles. It feels like aviation's version of Groundhog Day sometimes.
It does.
And for you, the listener, it really highlights the huge capital risk, the political balancing act involved in these government-backed airline ventures. You have to ask, when does national pride maybe start to look like a potentially very expensive project?
That's the question.
Okay, so from aspiring to launch, let's shift gears. Let's talk about a nation making a massive move to expand its existing air power. Indonesia offers a really interesting contrast to Ghana. Tell us about that.
Right, Indonesia. They're set to buy 50, that's 50, new aircraft from the United States. It's part of a pretty significant new trade deal.
50 planes. And a trade deal, what's the connection?
Well, part of the deal includes a big change in tariffs. The tariff on Indonesian products coming into the U.S. is dropping to 19%, down from 32%. So quite a reduction.
That's substantial. Okay, 50 aircraft, that is a huge order. What kind of planes are they mostly looking at? And which airline is getting them?
Reports suggest most of these will be large, wide-body aircraft. The Indonesian president confirmed the government's commitment, saying they're needed to expand Garuda, their flagship airline.
Garuda, right.
He said, and I quote, "We do need Boeing aircraft to expand Garuda. Garuda is our pride." But they also said they'll keep buying from the big European manufacturer, too. So, a mix.
That's a very clear statement of intent, tying it directly to national pride. But was it smooth sailing getting to this point? Any challenges before this big announcement?
Well, it's interesting. A news outlet in Jakarta reported earlier in July that Garuda was maybe looking at adding 79 aircraft.
Even more.
Potentially. But the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises then revealed that an earlier fleet expansion plan had actually been dismissed by the country's Business Competition Supervisory Commission.
Ah, so some regulatory hurdles in the past?
Exactly. It shows there's some oversight there.
So despite those past issues, they're really pushing ahead now with this bold vision. Can you give us a quick snapshot of Garuda's current fleet and what these future plans really look like?
Sure. So the state-owned carrier, Garuda, currently flies 79 aircraft. It's a mix, A330s, B737s, B777s, different models from both big makers. They also have existing orders for more B737s and A330s. Though it's worth noting, they've said before they won't take certain specific models, like the B737 MAX and one type of A330neo.
Right, specific choices there.
And their subsidiary, Citylink, also operates a diverse fleet, mostly A320s and ATR turboprops.
Got it. So this new big order fits into what?
It's all part of a bigger restructuring plan. Shareholders just approved it. The goal is to grow the whole group's fleet to 120 aircraft
Wow.
and add up to 100 new routes across their combined network by 2029.
Ambitious. How are they funding this?
Well, to help support this, Indonesia's sovereign wealth fund recently injected about 405 million US dollars into the group.
Okay, this is a really fascinating case study. It shows how global aviation is becoming, well, a field for geopolitical influence, economic leverage. Indonesia is clearly using its buying power to shape trade terms.
Absolutely.
And what this means for you, the listener, is seeing how national trade policy, big money investments, and airline strategy all kind of merge together to reshape a whole country's aviation scene. Okay, now let's turn to a different kind of challenge. This one's faced by an established European carrier. It's less about grand expansion, more about the daily grind of keeping the current fleet flying reliably. So what happens when things just don't go according to plan?
Right, we're talking about an airline based in Zurich. They're having to reevaluate their fleet of smaller A220 aircraft, specifically the A220-100s.
The smaller ones. Why?
Because of persistent problems with the engines. They're made by a major U.S. company, and these ongoing engine issues are really disrupting their operations quite a bit.
That sounds like a major headache. Are they thinking of just, getting rid of these planes altogether?
Not yet, apparently. The airline's head of aircraft asset management said, well, they regularly look at different options, but no decision's been made yet on when they might phase out this specific type.
Okay.
She also really emphasized that the A220 is still an integral part of their fleet, and it's going to stay that way for the coming years. So they're not ditching it wholesale.
That's an interesting balance, acknowledging the problems but still committing to the plane. Can you give us some specifics, like their fleet mix and just how bad this engine problem is?
Sure. So this airline, Swiss, they're part of the Lufthansa Group. They were actually the launch customer for the A220-100, the 125-seat version.
Oh, the very first.
The very first. They currently operate 9 of those -100s and 21 of the larger A220-300s, the 145-seater.
Okay.
And crucially, both types use the same geared turbofan engines. That's the newer tech. Uses a gearbox for better efficiency, but it has faced some teething problems across the industry.
Right. I've heard about those GTF issues. So how many are affected?
Well, current data suggests at least 8 of their A220s. 2 of the smaller ones and 6 of the larger ones are actually in maintenance right now.
Yep.
That highlights the scale of the disruption.
8 aircraft grounded. That's significant. So why did they choose these planes in the first place, especially that smaller necked 100, if they were causing these operational headaches now?
Well, the head of aircraft asset management said she personally thinks both A220 versions are fundamentally good aircraft.
Okay.
And they had solid reasons for choosing them. A key reason for getting the A220-100 specifically was its unique ability to fly into London City Airport.
Ah, London City.
Right, exactly. It needs that special steep approach certification. Basically, it can handle tricky landings, short runways, that kind of thing. The larger NAG 300 variant doesn't have that certification.
So a specific niche capability drove that decision.
Precisely. She also confirmed they looked at maybe getting 6 A220-300s from Egyptair at one point, but that specific deal didn't work out. They found it unviable.
This really shines a light on the tough calls airlines have to make, doesn't it? Balancing, operational reliability, which is crucial, against fleet strategy and where they need to fly. It's almost like having a brand new car that you love, but you're constantly worried if the engine's actually going to start.
That's a good analogy.
And for you, the listener, it's a real peek behind the curtain at that constant juggling act that keeps air travel moving, often, at a significant cost and headache for the airline itself.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here, looking across these stories, is just seeing how the aviation industry is constantly dealing with ambition, strategic growth, and these really significant operational hurdles, often all at the very same time.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got Ghana with its long-term dream of a national carrier, Indonesia making these bold expansion moves tied to global trade, and then you have an established European airline just grinding through daily engine problems.
Right.
These individual stories, they really reflect these broader, interconnected trends shaping air travel everywhere.
If you zoom out to the bigger picture, it really underscores how things like economic policy, geopolitical factors, supply chain issues, which we see with the engines, and just technological challenges, they all play such a critical role in how the global air travel network develops.
Which raises a really important question, I think. As all these nations navigate the complexities of global trade, building infrastructure, dealing with these tech challenges, how will these very different approaches to aviation ultimately shape the skies of tomorrow? For all of us, the passengers, the businesses, the economies that depend on it all. A key question for the future. Thank you for joining us for Complete Aviation Solutions, Deep Dive number 119. We look forward to our next deep dive with you.